Merlin Allenby, a.k.a. Cudjoe, hailing from Lavender Road, San Juan. He was the owner of a football team named Crab Connection. He was also a top concert promoter, known for bringing down top Jamaican reggae acts like Sizzler, Jah Cure and Bounty Killer. But under all his achievements, he was a stone-cold killer and a major drug boss who they say would rule his territory with an iron fist. Cudjoe rode shotgun with many underworld bosses and suspected drug dealers. He was always surrounded by his shooters. No one knew for sure if they were armed, but the police would never try to search them. At one point he was untouchable. Cudjoe felt comfortable in the streets. He also loved being called Father Cudjoe. He brought out a family unit in Crab Connection. The players showed respect for their owner, but some were his young shooters and runners. At Lavender Road, Cudjoe was well feared and respected. Just as Prezi is today, Cudjoe would assist the needy in his community, but it came at a cost, either with blood or tears. No stranger could have ventured close to his premises without his knowledge. He is known to kill in oppositions who entered his village. They were shot and their bodies gruesomely dismembered and flung down a nearby precipice. Those he assisted became his lookouts, either for the police or other criminals. He was well protected and he went nowhere alone. But the night he was killed, he slipped big time. So it was with great shock that Cudjoe went to his death all alone. Investigators claimed he was lured to his death by someone he knew and for a bigger price. Growing up, Cudjoe was known as your everyday schoolyard bully, becoming a boss from young. And he always had a love for soccer. And as a teen, he grew up hard. And opportunities in those days were nothing. So his only option was the streets. He started off a simple ganja farmer, but his fields were regularly being burnt to the ground by army helicopters. So he began buying his product wholesale from Venezuelan Connection, buying it at a low price of $100 per pound and flipping it for 10 times that. Slowly his empire grew, and he began to build an arsenal the likes of which no one had ever seen before at the time. The community he controlled was a one-way and one-way-out street, which he had lookouts at every corner with walkie-talkies communicating. If of emergencies, they could even block the road on both sides, showering bullets at anything threat. They were like a well-trained army. At this time, his legal ventures started to take shape. He frequently held stage show concerts throughout the country, and his football club was making headlines locally, and aboard even playing with the like of Jah Cure and Gypton, two known reggae artists of the time, but his reign would end soon. It was shortly after midnight on July 21st, 2008, when Rafik Puna Mohammed, 59, and his common-law wife, Rosanna C. Mungal, were standing outside a popular bar on Aranquez Main Road, when a man rode up to them on a bicycle and fired several shots. Also standing there was bar owner Pradeep Ramnarine. All 3 people were shot in the head. Mohammed and Seemungal, who had been together for 19 years, died on the spot. Ramnarine was rushed to the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex for treatment for a head wound. Police listed Mohammed and Seemungal as market vendors. But Mohammed came with a history. He was one of 4 people charged with the murder of Port of Spain jeweller Surindra Miraj on December 6, 1986, at Grey Street, St. Clair. Miraj was kidnapped 3 months prior, and 4 men were charged, but he was gunned down while the case was pending. Mohammed Imran Ali, Roger Huggins, and Ali Mohammed were charged with the murder. They were sentenced to death, but because the jury was taken to Tobago for the Easter weekend and reportedly mingled with members of the public, a retrial was ordered. They were found guilty again, but 3 of them, Mohammed, Ali and Huggins, were acquitted. They were later killed. Police said Mohammed was heavily involved in drugs and was the uncle of El Socorro drug dealer Shazad Teddy Mice Khan, who was gunned down during Jose celebrations in St. James. While the bodies of Mohammed and Simungal lay on the ground, a woman telephoned Cudjoe, a good friend of the dead people, and informed him of what had happened. With no time to call his guards, Cudjoe jumped into his vehicle and drove from San Juan to Aranjuez to see his friends. He never suspected it was a trap. Here was a close confidant who called him, and he went speeding. Around 3:30 a.m., Cudjoe was standing at the side of the road with relatives awaiting the arrival of the district medical officer. A black car pulled up in front of them, and several men alighted and opened fire on Cudjoe and others. Cudjoe, a father of 11, was shot several times in the head and died on the spot. A policeman who arrived on the scene described this killing as a clever execution. A woman who was at the scene said Cudjoe tried to protect her when the shooting started. "All I know, he ran behind the Prado and I saw him fall. Just before, when I saw the car and heard the gunshots, he pushed my head down to the ground so I would not get hurt," she said. Police feared that the killing of Cudjoe would cause reprisals in and out of his area. But 1 year later, that never happened. What happened was a brazen attack outside a bar at Maracas at St. Joseph on August 1st, 2008, in which 3 people were killed. Among them were mother of 3, Karen Danulal, and Ryan Charles, a drug accused, who police said was a suspect in Cudjoe's killing. Police said that Charles was one of the men who killed Cudjoe, and that people connected to the San Juan Robin Hood took revenge for that killing. 1 year later, Cudjoe's murder remains unsolved. With that many imitations.